But yeah, it was super fun to work on. I am so grateful to be able to work on the project. Shout out to Eric Bauza, who actually referred me to this.
No way, Eric
Yeah,
Bauza, the voice of Bugs Bunny and a lot of the Looney Tunes currently right now.
yes, yes. So he referred me to the project, and I sent in auditions, and they cast me as who they did because I'm not saying.
Now, were you in session on your own doing stuff, or did they have any kind of group recordings at all for you?
This was all solo. So I actually ran into Rodney Toe like in the waiting room, but we were together. So
like, hey man.
I know. I was like, hey Ben, you're working on this too. That's great. Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I mean, you look through that cast list. It's like, I mean, it's like every Filipino actor.
Every Filipino actor.
It's like, oh, I know them too.
Did you want like an?
I know them too.
Like, oh, do you want another one? Okay. Like,
every time I went into a session, like it was always somebody new I had learned. Like maybe. Like the second time around, when we went in for ADR, I was like, "Oh, you got Darren, Chris, and New Diamond Phillips on this." And then I found out they were working with Leslie Ann too, who was part of Room to Improv. And I was like, Leslie Ann's on this? And I texted her. I'm like, hey, we're working on a thing. So yeah, it's like they were just like, hey, Filipinos, come.
Dante Bosco's in it for
Dante's in it. Dante's in it. I didn't know about
John Briones
without Dante Bosco.
Complete without Dante. Dee Dee, who is our guest.
Yes.
We're about to bring her on in a little bit. But yeah, Darren, Chris, a lot of people, Eric Bauza, like we mentioned,
Liza
John Briones,
Sobrano
like I
for the
said.
John
Filipino
Briones.
language version, and Shade Mitchell for the English language version for Trese.
Right. So I have not actually listened. We watched a little bit of the Tagalog language version, which is and the funny thing about it is it's like kind of rather deep Tagalog. It's not not all of it is like conversational. So
See, now that's something that I would be curious to hear from you, or maybe from others. How, if there's any kind of change or shift in the dub, like did they have to adapt? You know, I mean, because this is like one of the things. You know, I know that I am coming into this with a minimal knowledge of Filipino folklore and like some of the background of these characters. So you know, wondering if there were any dialogue changes made to as you know, not even just because you know going from one language to another language is not exactly linear. There's different kind of logic, grammar, whatever. But also if there's other kind of changes they had to make in that translation.
I think that you can actually check this out if you do understand Filipino. Like you can check this out pretty readily because it. I think because even the little bit we were watching the Tagalog, like the spoken language, does not. It's not one-to-one with the subtitles. The subtitles are they're the English version, just version, like transcripted. And then, the Tagalog is actually it's a little different. It's like just the stuff I watched. I can't remember one offhand, but there are also like deep words in Tagalog that can't be translated into English easily. So there's a little bit of that as well.
That makes sense.
Well, I imagine there's also maybe like slang that is common in the Philippines, maybe hasn't come over yet too. Or
I heard there's a little bit of that as well. I'm not like well versed on like current Filipino slang, so yeah, I would probably have to. I haven't been there ever, so I would have to ask. Like, I guess we could ask like Ruben Uy, who's also
who's also in the cast.
Who's also in the cast.
Yeah, exactly.